Well, welcome back to many of you who attended the first two sessions today in the webinar series of the Florida DEP's Office of Sustainable Initiatives, and welcome anew to those who are just attending this session. Our next session is on Florida's clean and resilient marinas. And the session again features Brenda Leonard, who is Program Administrator for the state's Clean Marina Program, located in the Office of Sustainable Initiatives. Let me mention very briefly for those of you who were not in the earlier sessions that we will be taking questions throughout the program. You simply go onto the control panel at the right of your screen where it says questions and type them in, and at the conclusion of the presentation, we will ask those questions on your behalf. And for this, as the last session, if questions run longer than 3:30, then the presenters are happy to stay for that as well, including on the Green Lodging Program. And so with that said, let me go ahead and unmute Brenda and welcome you back.
Well, thank you, Marcia. I'm today about Florida's clean and resilient marinas. So a little bit of review about what Clean Marina is, and then we'll build on the Clean and Resilient Marina program. So Clean Marina is a voluntary designation program. It's for marinas, retailers, and boatyards that exhibit a proactive approach to environmental stewardship. So these facilities offer services for a fee. A boatyard would do hull work. A marina, of course, dockage and marina services, and may include some boatyard services. A retailer provides sales and services. They will usually have a shop in the back that they repair engines and maybe some hull work. The boater program, boaters give pledges, and they pledge not to pollute the water and to pump out and to frequent clean marinas. The Clean Boating Partnership is a group that works together to help us implement the program. And our Clean and Resilient Marina builds on existing programs. So here we go. The Clean Marina program, all of our programs are non-regulatory and they're voluntary. The program, it's a partnership. It's between industry and government. We work together to benefit the freshwater bodies of water and the marine waters of Florida. We work together, the facilities, the boaters, and the environment. It's about pollution, prevention of pollution. It's about clean water. So a clean marina is one who has taken a proactive, voluntary approach to environmental stewardship. We reward them as a clean marina, we designate them, and we brag on them. Clean marinas protect our sensitive habitats. They reduce their usage of hazardous wastes because they know that it can harm the environment if it was to spill. They're in compliance with all the rules and regulations. They incorporate stormwater prevention techniques so that in storm events, spilled items don't get washed away into the water basin to affect all of our little critters. The requirements of the Clean Marina program, we have 3 categories: environmental management, environmental quality, and services. To manage your facility, you're in compliance with all the required regulations. You have a resource person available to help the boaters with any questions, concerns, recycling, you name it, you're there. You provide waste management. You post your policies so that boaters and your contractors will know that you're a clean marina and that you require them to not soil the environment. Quality, your marina has no signs of oil, you have no sheen on the water, and if you do, you find ways to clean it up, and then you find ways to prevent it. You encourage your boaters to use the pump out equipment. You don't allow any raw sewage to be discharged in your marina. The services that you would provide: clean restrooms. Your docks are well maintained. Your staff is trained. They're trained to clean up spills. They're trained to assist the boaters in all aspects of the marine world. And you provide them with information about the environment, about the sensitive habitats, about the waterways, the channels, the rules, the regulations. You're there providing them with anything they need for a good boating experience. So far we have 290 clean marinas, we have 45 boatyards that are clean, and we have 19 clean retailers. And of course, to become designated, you implement best management practices that are designed to protect the environment. So what is resiliency? Resilience is the capacity of human and natural systems to adapt to and recover from change. So exactly what does that mean with your marina? If your marina were to be impacted by anything, a storm event, economic event, a tornado, a fire, you can react quickly and then get back into business quickly. That is recovering from change. So to become designated as a clean and resilient marina, what would you do? What is the criteria? Well, to be designated as resilient, first and foremost, you have plans to protect human life. And then you seek to prevent and minimize injury to these humans, and of course our critters. You reduce your property exposure to damage. You minimize damage to property that can't be relocated. And then you seek to restore your normal operations as quickly as possible because you're resilient. You can adapt to these changes. You can figure out what you need to do to get back into operation quickly. So far, Florida has designated 9 clean and resilient marinas. Our first one was in Brevard County. Our second one was in Augustine Municipal. You've got Escambia County, Palm Harbor Marina, Fishtail Marina in Lee County, City of Fort Myers Yacht Basin, Carabel Boat Club in Franklin County up here in the Panhandle, Boca Chica Naval Air Station down in the Keys. We have Legacy Harbor Marina in Lee County and Clearwater Harbor Marina in Pinellas. All these marinas have fantastic hurricane plans. They have fantastic spill plans, emergency plans. They've covered every aspect that you can think of to protect their marina, to protect the humans, to get out quickly and then get back quickly. The program was developed through the Gulf of Mexico Alliance, GOMA. GOMA is a multi-state partnership of Florida, Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana, and Texas. We all work together to create some materials on these different topics. We're working on the coastal community resiliency. This is part of the Governor's Action Plans for the Gulf of Mexico program. So we're part of this resilience team. If you were to look at the action plan, I'll show you a picture of it in just a second. In subsection action, subaction 5, it says that we will promote and expand resilient and environmentally responsible operations and best management practices at marinas. This is what the governors of the 5 Gulf states decided was important. So we developed a team, we developed materials, and now we're implementing this program in the Gulf states. Similarly, we're working on the South Atlantic states to develop materials. So our goals were to standardize practices across the states. All these states have clean marina programs already, so we were looking to standardize these programs, work together to increase participation to implement the environmental BMPs in the clean marina programs. So here's what the governor's action plans look like. There was one developed in 2006 to 2009, and then there was one developed in 2009 to 14, and they're working on a new plan now for 15. Here are the state agencies that worked to develop the plans. Mississippi Department of Marine Resources took the lead. Mississippi and Alabama Sea Grant provided a lot of the information as well. Florida Department of Environmental Protection, so I helped with this. Sea Grant with the University of Florida. Louisiana Department of Natural Resources, and the Sea Grant Law and Policy Program in Louisiana was very instrumental in pulling together a lot of the rules and policies for all the states, and the Texas Sea Grant Program. So here's the map of the clean marinas in the Gulf, and note that Florida has marinas not only on the Gulf side but the Atlantic side. But according to the coastal zone policy, Florida is considered, the entire state is considered coastal zone. So no matter which coast it is, no matter if it's inland or actually coastal, it is considered part of the Gulf of Mexico coastal zone. So all of our marinas qualify. Here's what the materials look like. There are 4 volumes. However, the at a glance is basically the checklist, and the guidelines provides a lot of the checklists and things like that from the various states. All the states' programs are in these manuals, so it includes 5 states' materials. There are policies for all the states provided. So you can get these materials online. There's a link that I will give you. And here are the areas that we cover in the materials. We look at marina design and siting. We look at how the marinas are managed, planning for emergencies and evacuation, petroleum control, how do you handle your sewage, waste, vessel maintenances and repair, stormwater management, and your outreach and education to your boaters, which is very important, especially in a storm event that's approaching. Clean and resilient marinas may have some of these type things at their marinas. They may install floating docks. They may install concrete docks, removable docks. They may have a reinforced dry stack. They may have natural shorelines. They may have some equipment that they can remove and then put back later. They may have underground fuel tanks and utilities. First, foremost, and the most important of all is their trained, dedicated staff, because if you don't have dedicated staff, you don't have anything. So the design and siting, it's important with new facilities. Of course, some facilities are already built and we have to work with what we have. So just remember, we start with what we have and then we build on that. So your siting is the most important thing if you haven't built yet. So you would want to obviously work in water conservation and any new designs. Think about environmentally neutral materials that you may be able to build with. Think about your landscaping at the water side, because that's a very important place to put landscaping to help keep erosion from happening. Use your conservation easements wisely. Those are the places you want to have some underground utilities and use them for conserving wildlife. Let nature work its gifts there. More on design and siting. If you haven't built yet, you would want to do a soil test to see what you're building on, to make sure you're building on the rock and not, just erosion that's happening. There's a lot of areas of the state that's going through erosion. Locate those areas in maps and find out what you are indeed building on. Look at your maximum wind speeds. That information is provided through NOAA and the Weather Service. Currents and wave heights. Perhaps build in an area that doesn't have a lot of issues that you would have to deal with later, especially during a storm event. Look at areas that provide natural shelter, and I've got some pictures to illustrate that. Look at areas that may have natural water calming measures. Perhaps you may install something that helps to calm some of the water so it doesn't erode away your basin and your docks. Look at areas that don't require dredging and filling, because if you fill an area to build on it, that's the first area to go in a major storm. Look at your piers and docks. If you have naturally deep waters, that helps to absorb the water energy and the wave energy a lot better than waters that are shallow. Look at your docking system. Make sure they're designed that they resist surge and winds and floating debris, and especially in the rivers, the debris after storm events it's just, the trees can knock over your docks very easily. Look at your docks and how they're designed. You'd want to make sure that they allow for a free exchange of water. That will help to keep them standing and where they won't erode away and fall in. Your boat ramps, are they wide enough for multiple folks to come and go, or will there be congestion in the event of evacuation where folks can't get out in time or they can't secure their things in a nice amount of time? Look at your channels. How wide are your channels? Can vessel traffic get in and out quickly? Look at these things as you're looking to buy a facility or you're looking at land to build on. Here's a marina that built into the environment. They are shielded by the natural barriers. You can see the landforms and their natural shoreline. This marina it's in Niceville, Florida, here in the Panhandle. And we had some pretty bad hurricanes about 10 years ago. And this marina fared very well. It was still standing, had minimal damage because of all the natural shorelines that help to absorb the energies from the waves and the winds. There's a marina. This is in Pensacola. They installed 70-foot pilings. So they have floating docks, and that has helped to secure their docks from going in at the hurricane. They were still standing after Hurricane Ivan. And you can see the land mass that helps to protect that marina. And it does work. This marina is protected by mangroves, and they've got floating cement docks here. This is Legacy Harbor in Fort Myers. This is another marina that's protected by soft shorelines. And this is Carabel Boat Club here in the Panhandle. And these grasses really do absorb that wave energy and that wind energy. And it does help her to protect the facility. And this is the same facility, and you can see there are floating cement docks that are quite sturdy. And they just roll right up with the tide as it increases. This marina is on the east coast along the intracoastal there, and it is shielded by barrier islands, and it is very well protected because of that. Now, should the winds be coming from that way, it doesn't matter. You've got the land on one side, and then you've got these barrier islands on the other, and it helps a lot. For emergency planning, it isn't a matter of if, but it is a matter of when. And planning will definitely help in the success of the outcome of your facility. As you can see in these pictures, this marina caught on fire and started by one boat. Had they had spill emergency equipment readily available, chances are it may not have spread as quickly. I'm not sure the exact details of this, but we do know that it did spread and their marina is now no longer standing. Encourage your marina patrons to develop personal emergency plans. If each boater has their own plan, then in an emergency they can act a lot quicker, especially if they have practiced it. Post some signage around your facility. When boaters are in an emergency frame of mind, it's hard to remember everything, and having emergency signage posted helps tremendously. In a storm event, you can post temporary signage. You don't have to have it up all the time, but do help remind your boaters of where they can get help, what to do, where to go, who to call. Just keep reminding them. Make sure your boaters have insurance so that if their vessel hits another vessel, they don't try to blame you, and that way you can help, it can help you recover some damages at your marina. Make sure that the evacuation procedures are clearly communicated to your staff and boaters so that they know exactly what's expected. Post things. There's just an example of a kiosk area, emergency planning area, first aid, clearly marked, easy to find. First aid kits are right there. It doesn't tell you where to go. It goes ahead and gives it to you. And training for staff is very important. Your evacuation plan is very important. Each facility should have one. Each facility should have regular training. You need to be prepared. Have some steps in your lease agreements so that each boater knows exactly what's expected of them, and notification of how to tie down their boats in these events. Pass out information to them regularly so that they know what exactly is expected. Here's another few ideas on best management practices. Erosion is a big deal at marinas, and you don't even have to have a major storm event. Marinas erode away 1 grain at a time, so implementing stormwater erosion controls during the year is a way to help to keep this prevented. Here's a picture of some channeling of some stormwater. This facility has underground utilities, and you can see how they've channeled for the stormwater to drain off. That helps. Here's just a picture of a marina that's built into the environment. You can see a lot of the foliage around that helps to absorb winds, energies, and it helps to clean the water before it goes into the marina basin. Provide some education and outreach to your boaters, again, so that you're communicating, so they know exactly what is expected of them. Include emergency numbers and evacuation policies. Provide training to your employees, and a lot of the boaters like to have presentations given to them with some mock exercises. And clearly mark your no-wake zones and your channels and that so that folks can get out quickly. Hurricane preparedness, have a plan, evacuation procedures, train your personnel, and practice, practice, practice. Here's the first page of Points Marina. They were our first designated marina. And first and foremost, they protect human life. They prevent and minimize personal injury. They reduce the exposure of their property to damage. They minimize the damage to property that can't be relocated, and they seek to restore normal operations as quickly as possible. Their hurricane plan is located on our website, and it's available for you to copy. You can go through it, adjust it, tailor it to your facility, and it's available for your use, already written. Here's an example. St. Augustine has this posted, and it's on their website. They have great evacuation procedures and communication to their boaters and to the members of their city. They're great leaders. Here's a picture of the hurricane resilient dry stack. This dry stack is resilient to 150-mile-an-hour winds. It's reinforced to prevent twisting. It's got vents at the bottom. And before a storm event, boats can be moved inside. Here's a picture of the under and over strapping, and it all ties together and is strapped into the foundation. Here's a picture of the venting at the bottom that helps to equalize the pressure and water that may accumulate inside the dry stack. Will just drain right out. And this marina went through several hurricanes some years back. It's located on the east coast of Florida. This is Hamilton Harbor. It's in Naples. It's constructed of steel reinforced concrete. It's pretty advanced boat storage. Inside, it's resilient to 150-mile-an-hour winds. It has concrete walls that separate each boat, and that helps to protect each boat from the spread of fire. So insurance companies love these kinds of things because they know now that there will be less claims. Here's River Forest Yachting Center, just another picture of a marina that's built into the environment. You can see all the trees that help to clean the environment and help to protect it, landforms. Very well maintained as well. Inside this one, they have climate-controlled indoor storage. They have a sprinkler system and a 24-hour security system. Their hurricane-protected dockage. They have internal cross-tie cleats for tie-down. Their outdoor storage lots is available for long-term storage. And outside, they also have airline-grade tie-down cleats that are set in concrete that they will tie your boat down and protect it during a storm. And restoring operations, this marina was almost the only one left standing in Pensacola after Hurricane Ivan. They were resilient before the word resilient came out in the Gulf of Mexico. So they were built in a half-moon cove, and it's protected by land. They're shielded by an island, and they were fully operational with electricity, water, and fuel after the hurricane. The Coast Guard and other emergency vessels used this facility for their operations. So they were back in business. Some marinas offer a hurricane club to its marinas for a yearly fee. It meets insurance requirements, and they have a guaranteed space. You know, a lot of boaters live in other states, and they just moor their boats in Florida marinas. So should a storm come, the marina will take care of your boat for you, and that meets insurance requirements. Here are the contacts for our different programs. Here's the websites for our programs. I'll come back to this slide. I've got one slide left, and then I'll come back to this so y'all can make note of these. Here are the contacts for the Gulf of Mexico Alliance. Our main contact for the Alliance was Rhonda Price. She's in Mississippi. Mike Spranger also assisted with the University of Florida, and then myself helped develop the materials. Here is our contact information. And here are these websites again for anyone who want to make note. And that's my presentation, so I'm available for questions now.
Well, another very informative presentation it was. And again, folks, if you'd like to ask questions, simply open your console back up or your control panel back up. And where it says the word questions, type them in, or if you have any comments, feel free to offer them. And we'll have a brief Q&A period here. And the first one is, my marina is already built. How can I take part in this program?
Okay, that's very easy. You're already built, so what are we going to start with? With what you have. So I encourage you to get the checklist if you don't have it already, and just start looking it over and seeing what you do have. A lot of marinas are in different stages of resiliency. Just because you're resilient doesn't mean you won't have impacts from a storm. It doesn't mean that you're not going to get completely damaged, but what it does mean is you're going to pick up the pieces and you're going to get back into business with what you have after the storm damage. So let's look at what you have, and there's different levels of resiliency. Some marinas, they're older, but what they have is fantastic plans. They know exactly what to do. They've trained their staff, and they're great leaders in their community. Therefore, they're resilient.
Next one is, in a bad storm such as you describe, all marinas are at some risk. So how can a marina really be resilient?
Yes, there are bad storms. And in a real bad storm, there are no guarantees. But if you can plan and you can get out alive, then that's what you have. You have your life and you have your property. You can come back and pick up the pieces. There are going to be storm events where everyone is going to get damaged, but we want to minimize the damage by planning. And sometimes the only thing that we have left is our life at the end. But that's what we have, and we'll pick the pieces up, we go to your land, clean it up, and we build again.
Next one is the information on the checklist in my current Clean Marina manual?
No, this was developed after the manuals were developed. Now, in the new manuals, we'll be putting it in, and we're actually revising the checklist as we speak. The checklist is available online, or you can send me an email. My email is right on the screen now, or call me and I can send it to you.
And lastly, unless someone comes in with something pretty quickly, how long will it take for my marina to get a designation?
Well, it depends on, where you're at and how much you work on it. If you're able to get the checklist and look it over, say, this week, chances are you may already be resilient. There are marinas out there that have everything in place. They just haven't done the checklist and gotten designated. So let's start with that, and give me a call and I can chat with you. It's just a matter of getting someone out there and walking through the facility with you to do the audit and getting your designation paperwork in.
All righty. Well, I'm going to open up Sheena's line as well in case she has anything further to add, and then ask you, Brenda, if there's anything else that you would like to add before we go to the closing.
Everyone become designated as clean and resilient. Our state needs this preparation for emergencies, and we need good leadership to help everyone else around you to get out in time and to plan accordingly, because people want to do the right thing, and sometimes they just don't have time, or they just haven't come across the information. So help us help them, and our whole state and economy and environment will be better. We want a strong state.
Very sage advice and direction. And Sheena, anything to add? Not sure if she's...
To all the marinas, if you even have a lodging facility, please feel free and get dual designation as a clean marina, clean and resilient marina, a green lodging, get your pump outs.
Way to go, Sheena.
And as Brenda and Sheena have pointed out, they do promote those of you who are doing great things out there, so that's good for your businesses.
That's right. Take pictures and send them to us.
Okay, well, thank you everyone for attending, whether you were here for one session or multiple sessions today. The slides for each of the sessions will be available on the website, and that is at leangreenlodging.com. And the video of these sessions we anticipate will be available as well. We can never promise, you never can be absolutely certain, but that is the intention. So those of you who would like to revisit some of this information that was shared with you today, or hopefully let some other folks know about it as well so that they can attend online. And there's other information on that website as well, leangreenlodging.com, the one that you registered for this event through. And you've seen the links to the department's main website where there's still more still more information that can assist you. And so it's all about providing that assistance so that great things can be done for our state. So with that, we thank you again for your participation and wish you a good day.